Good morning, honored guests and ministerial officials. Today it's our pleasure to be here to present to you on disaster and disaster prevention.
But not just disasters and how to prevent them. Even more so, we're here to address the stigma that disasters are only natural.
And moreover, we're going to talk about what schools and agencies are doing, or rather what they should be doing to address these disasters. So without further ado, I ask you, disaster, what do we mean when we say that word?
Isn't a disaster a natural or man-made hazard that results in the loss of human life? Well, at least what I learned in school. But to me, that seems really basic.
But what's all the talk about natural disasters?
Tell me.
Well, a natural disaster is basically any catastrophic event which occurs as a result of nature or a natural process on Earth, in which its severity is measured by 1, lives lost, 2, economic loss, or 3, the ability of that population to rebuild. But if we were to refocus our attention to the general description of a disaster, we'd see that the definition for a natural disaster is lacking a bit. And where is that lack, you may ask?
A lack? How about disasters that occur daily? The ones that don't involve buildings falling or the ground exploding beneath our feet. How about disasters that are subtle? The neglected ones. The ones that seem unimportant in a fast-paced, ever-changing world. How about social disasters? Maybe they don't always result in civil wars or genocide. But there is a loss. When that depressed teen takes overdoses because the weight of his collapsing world is too much to bear. When his father left and his mother's on drugs, what does he do? Or that girl made one little mistake, got lost in the moment, now she's a mother. What do we call these? A disaster isn't the loss of human life. A disaster is the loss of potential. When we turn our backs on the little things, we suffer. What good is a developing country if we continuously lose our human resources time and time again to the same things? We can build a wall, but the spring tides of emotional issues continue to flood and wash away the fertile coastlines of our youth. What do we call these? We can build a wall, yes, it will stop the flooding, but how do we stop intangible dangers?
Well, that's a good point. But does that mean we completely shift our focus off natural disasters? Of course not. Let's take a look at Colombia. Population some 49 million, area 440,000 miles roughly. Capital Bogota, home of a rich Spanish heritage dating back to the 16th century, and needless to say, mouth-watering Spanish foods. When you look at their economic and infrastructural development, it's staggering in comparison to their bordering neighbors. But does that mean that such a country isn't susceptible to disasters, natural disasters too? Of course not. 1985, Nevado del Ruiz. The volcano spewed tons and tons of ash and cinder into the atmosphere above, claiming some 26,000 lives.
Wow.
Now, I'll look at something other than Colombia for a bit. Let's take a look at the Caribbean, where we're situated, right? We have a rich history of natural disasters, that's a fact. 2010, Haiti, the earthquake shocked the citizens throughout the entire country. 1902, Mount Pelée erupts, creating a cloud of unbreathable gas over the atmosphere of Martinique. 1995, the same thing happens in Montserrat when Soufrière Hills explodes. Just 3 years ago, Tropical Storm Erica lashes out on the island of Dominica. Now, collectively, these 5 natural disasters claim some 300,000 lives. And this goes to show the level at which natural disasters impact a country. And what are we doing to prevent these, I ask?
The truth is, we can't control the earth, but we can predict its anger. To stop flooding, we build walls or plant mangroves to reduce the magnitude of aggressive waves. we're competently aware of the signs of an incoming hurricane or storm. In the event of a natural disaster, countries come together, pooling resources to attempt to compensate for economic loss. There are shelters erected in most countries to provide for people who may have lost too much, like their homes. Relief organizations exist. For example, the American Red Cross and International Rescue Committee. We have accounted for natural disasters. But what about the little things? How do we prevent suicide? How do we keep our youth? Keep them from the disaster that so often beset us?
How?
Well, I don't know. But we have to start somewhere. The best step could be awareness and empathy. The knowledge of natural disasters is adequate. But are we competently prepared for the other disasters? The ones that can't be predicted or quarantined? The internal fever? The silent killer? Every school needs a counselor. The social disasters of our country are overlooked. We need someone who's capable, someone who listens and empathizes, someone able to alleviate the stresses of school life, even if just a little. We need more than just a once per month empowerment workshop that wears off before we get home. We need something permanent.
Permanent?
Permanent.
It's about time we stop treating these disaster prevention initiatives like a tetanus shot. We get it now and think it's going to last us the rest of our lives. But that's clearly not what's happening. How much emphasis is really placed on educating and equipping persons with the ability to prevent these social and natural disasters? Let's band together
And arrest disasters at its core.
because remember,
Those who
fail to prepare
prepare to fail. Thank you.